My name is Edward C. James, and I'm a Dakota State University student. I will be talking about new and upcoming security features as far as web security. Web security model extension frameworks. So what are they? They're composed of cross-domain requests. They're under the XML HTTP request API, that is in which the data is revealed to the caller only if the response includes suitable and well-formed access control origin headers. For example, this script right here will result in a GET request for the following host, fuzzybunnies.com, and will generate this cookie right here, and it will trace it as an origin from http www.bunnyoutlet.com. So the security model extension frameworks is a non-simple request and pre-flight. In the case, this includes two-way handshake that implements sending a vanilla option request, or pre-flight if you will, to the target URL. The content headers are composed of the origin, access control request methods, and access control request headers. The handshake success happens only if these parameters are properly acknowledged in the response that are included in the three headers. This is not 100% secure. There's a way to circumvent this, but this is one thing that has been implemented. Now, the current status of the cross-origin resource sharing is that it is only available on Firefox and WebKit-based browsers. Also, there's many complaints and reasons why many of the web browsers have decided not to approach this strategy. But one of the weak complaints from the vendors, such as Microsoft, is that the cross-origin resource sharing is susceptible to the header injection. This is to the fact that the cross-origin resource sharing does not require the server to echo back an unpredictable challenge strings to complete the handshake, meaning that to them this is not secure. It is not secure enough, and there's a possibility of exploitation, and that's why Microsoft has decided not to implement this in Internet Explorer. Now, the security model extension framework furthermore contains an X-domain request. X-domain request by Microsoft browser request to remain anonymous and avoiding custom HTTP headers. Pre-flight requests and permissions changing are not a part of the design. More reasonable and secure than the cores, but only available in Internet Explorer 8 and up. And as we know, Internet Explorer 9 is known to have a lot of incompatibility issues, so that's something else that's another problem that is present at this time. Now, researchers are working on a third solution. This is known as the Uniform Messaging Policy, and it might be unified with cores. It is still unknown at this point, but it's something that they're definitely looking into. Also, other use of the original header. Origin header proposal accurately represents the SOP origin have been suggested, so that if an origin does not map the protocol host port tuple, the browser sends a value of nil. So this is supposed to prevent a customized attack that can be identified in SOP if the origin doesn't map to the protocol mentioned, then the value is sent as null, and the problem is supposed to be rendered useless. Only one browser is following this implementation, however, and at this point Firefox is considering different alternatives, but they haven't came up with a solution either yet. Current security paths are intended to mitigate XSRF and XXS attacks, but eventually abandoned the intention to focus on XRF. Specifications for Mozilla Firefox are being rewritten, and Internet Explorer and Opera do not support current security path. Uh, at this point, my Internet Explorer, Mozilla, they're looking for to rewriting specifications against attacks against this type of cross-site scripting attacks and the like. Primarily, CSP directives on controlling behaviors are composed by six different by six different executions. Now, there's the we identify the script execution. This disables the ability to embed scripting line in the documents in order to limit the impact of cross-site vulnerabilities. We also identify plugging content, control is controlled through the object SRS and restricts the plugins to script SRS in order to achieve security. We also identify style sheet and fonts, which it is controlled through the style SRS and font SRS with intention to limit mixed content bugs. There's also passive multimedia, which controls the ability to embed multimedia content from a specific origins. And there's the subframes, which utilize the frame SRS to specify the acceptable destinations for any iframe tags. There's also the default policy, which specifies fallback behaviors for any content not covered by a more specified directive. Now we also have we also identified under this module policy violations. Now the policy violations, they are under the CSP controls, which control a wide range of content behavior that allows the browser to report all policy violations immediately back to the owner of the website. This is in order to create a more secure environment. It's basically an environment of awareness. With this information, the owners of the site can notice that there has been violations and a possible loophole for attacks, and at that point they can decide what measures they take into account. Features can be enabled through the report URI keyword in the policy. Customized policies can also be rolled out to provide HTTP notification upon violations. This is done inside the X Content Security Policy Report only header. This is so that specific policies are created to fit the needs of the website content and the business, if you will, to protect themselves in a more unique manner and possibly deter new attacks. And under the same model, they have received criticism about the CSP. There has been plenty of analysis as far as CSP, and one of the biggest complaints of CSP is having to move all inline script on the page to separate request documents in order to benefit from cross-site scripting defenses. Such complexity requires plenty of overhead and sometimes results in HTTP requests that are prohibited. Such overhead results in spending time and money trying to address what the true needs are, and a lot of companies decide to opt for other solutions, and that's one of the biggest complaints they've had on this matter. It is also not to mention that it is also sensitive to attacks that utilize resources that masquerade as scripts, but are truly not. They implement it has an implemented wide list of in the CSP, but it is not always sufficient to filter this type of attacks. And these are two reasons why there's so much criticism against CSP. But there's other alternatives as well on this matter.